Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. My name is Blackjack Johnny and hopefully today I'm going to be showing you how to create a curved vaulted ceiling tunnel. Should be nice and easy, nice and quick. It will help you've got a little bit of experience with terrain and working with patches, but anyway, I've added my actor in here. Just right click in your 2D window, go to actor, add whichever actor you wish. Make sure you're in grid 8 and have Colk selected. To start with, I'm just going to draw out a perfectly square brush. It's quite important that we make it perfectly square just because it will help us keep things on grid. Come up to Patch, Primitives, Square Cylinder. As you can see, let's just turn that into a solid mesh that has sort of 4 sides basically. So we can use this to create things a lot quicker. We don't have to worry about selecting individual patches. So I'm just going to move this into position here with our actor just to help us to scale this. I'm just going to make it 2 grids wide, nothing too big. For height of the roof, I'm just going to leave it on the top of our actor's head for the time being. I'm going to come back to that a little bit later. Press Control I to invert this patch. And I'm just going to drag it out, stretch it out a little bit to give us a little bit more length to this section. So as you can see, it's not very tall at this point in time, so we need to shape our roof now. To do that, I'm just going to select this patch, using Shift left click, press V on your keyboard to bring up the verts. And I'm going to select this middle row of verts just by using Shift left click. I'm going to hold Shift and use left mouse button to drag it up. As you can see, as I'm dragging it up, one of the properties of curve patches, it'll add more lines in to create a smoother effect depending on how far we drag it up. I like the smooth effect, but it does use a lot of verts, so I would suggest maybe going slightly down and having it angled, but I like it really smooth, so that's what I'm going to use. It does use more verts, but hey, that's what it does. I'm going to do the same on the floor, but I'm not going to go too extreme. I'm just going to pull it down slightly to create a little bit of a curved effect. And that's basically it. We've just created a template for our tunnel here. We've got our ceiling, our walls and our floor in one convenient patch. We're going to use this as a template now. I'm just going to copy that by pressing the spacebar, line it up with our original patch, and I'm going to create a bend here. I'm going to do the same principle as I showed you in a couple of my other tutorials, the curved wall tutorial and also the manually creating bends tutorial. So if you haven't watched those, please go ahead and watch them, and I'll show you how to create bends like this. Obviously you'll be working to a design. I'm just sort of freestyling it here, so just to save me some time, I'm just going to copy this bend just so I can create a bit of tunnel we can work with here. Obviously you'll be doing something slightly different, but I'm just doing this as a demonstration to show you what we can do. Just using these square cylinders and manipulating everything at the same time. It's nice and quick, in no time at all. We've got a nice piece of tunnel we can start working with here now. So we're going to bring this to life with a bit of texturing now. So before we do that, let's select all these patches again and convert them into terrain patches. Now we've got our shape and we're happy with it. So just select them all, come up to Patch, Curve to Terrain. So now we're going to come in here and I'm just going to select 2 of these sections and press W. This will just merge them together and create one solid patch. It'll just make it easier to work with a little bit quicker to work with. So I need to split this floor away from the walls here. To do that, I'm just going to select this patch and press V to bring up the verts. And you Shift left click to select the row of verts closest to the wall. And then just use Control Shift X to split the patch away from the wall patches. As you can see, that's all I'm doing here. Use Shift left click to select the row, Control Shift X to split it away. And there we go, we split our floor away from our wall, so we can throw a quick texture on this now. I'm just going to do this quickly with just a quick gravel texture. I'm not going to worry about it too much just now. Obviously you'll take your time and texture it depending on what type of tunnel you're making, etc, etc. So I'm just going to throw a quick brick texture on these walls and the roof here. We could split the roof away and have a different texture on there if we wanted to, but I'm just going to keep it simple. And as quickly as that, we've created a nice tunnel section. I think it looks pretty good for nice and quick, nice and simple. So now let's go into a bit more detail and do a little bit of blending on our floor here, just so we can create sort of a well-worn path, well-trodden path, so to speak. So first thing I'm doing, I'm just going to make this slightly more exaggerated down here for the time being. You can do whatever you like for your tunnel, but I'm just going to split this this center piece out for a little bit here, and I'm just doing that just to save us a bit of time when we come to do blending, so we don't have to do so much of it. So I'm going to select our split center patch here. And I'm just going to copy it and lay it back over, and you'll probably notice that it's gone off grid somewhere. So select all of your patches, select to the lowest grid possible, and press Ctrl G to snap those verts back to grid. Once you've done that, select one of your layers that you've just copied over for alpha blending, select a blend texture, press G to bring up the vertex tool, slide your amplitude bar down to 0, select alpha and click apply. Okay, so you're going to want to select the row of verts that you want to click the blend to, and then just repeat that process. As you can see there, it's just created a nice blend going through the middle of our tunnel here, just in a well trodden path. Of course you'd continue doing it on, but for the sake of time I'm just going to show you quickly how you can add some curved water down the centre of this tunnel if we wanted to do it. So just select one of your centre patches there, line it back up and press V to bring up the verts. Select that middle row of verts and press Ctrl Shift Q to remove them, and that will return this patch to a perfectly flat patch. Next I'm just going to put it straight down so the patch is just showing slightly through our path there, and I'm going to select water texture and hit natural on the surface inspector. As you can see there by these numbers showing the water texture that it's following our bend. So in game, when we compile this and have a look, the water and the ripples and the flow of the water will be following that bend. Depending on the water texture you use, of course, you'll have to see which way the ripples go and then rotate it around, maybe stretch and fit it just to make it look good. Another piece of detail I'm going to show you how to do here is to create a roof support that perfectly lines up with our tunnel here. So first I'm just going to draw in some brushes for the first part of these the supports here. Just simple brushes. I'm just making them in grid 8 there, and I'm putting a little bevel in the top. Just use the edge tool to do that. I'm sure you know how to use the edge tool by now. So next, draw a brush in line with the tops of these two brushes and go up to patch, simple curve patch, and leave it in 3 and 3. Make sure the patch is on the outside edge of these brushes here. Next, switch back down into our side view, press V on the keyboard to bring up the verts, and just mimic the bevel that we put in these brushes with the patches, just by moving those verts around. Drag out and select these middle verts, use Alt left click just to drag it straight up, and you're just going to drag it straight up until it lines up perfectly with our roof. The roof of our tunnel here, which it has done, which is great. So take your time with the texture, and of course again I'm just doing this quickly for demonstration, but you'll want to make this look as good as you possibly can. Take your time with the texturing. Good texturing makes a difference between a good map and an excellent map, in my opinion, visually speaking. You can really take your time and make this look as natural as possible, but that'll do us for now. I'm just going to thicken this up. Press Ctrl Shift T to bring up the thicken tool. Leave it on grid 8 and leave seams selected. Press OK. That'll thicken that up nice. Go back again and do your texturing. Texture these patches using the Surface Inspector's natural settings should do you for the most part. And for optimization, I'm just going to select both of these brushes, pull them straight down. I need to delete these excess patches that were created when we made this the supporting arch here. So while we're here, we might as well caulk the inside of these brushes just for optimization. Bring them back up to level again and all nicely lined up. And the last step, again for optimization, make those brushes detail. At this point, now we've got that made and we know it fits and it's looking cool, I'll probably make that into a prefab, but we could just copy this down, place it wherever we like in our tunnel. There we go. We made a really nice supporting arch there that really lines up with our tunnel. Looks really cool. Okay, so with all that done now, last thing we need to do when we're working with curve patches and doing things like this, we always need to check our light grids. Just press Shift L to enter light grid mode, select all your patches, use natural on the Surface Inspector. This will just prevent us from having any light grid errors in our compile. Everything will be cool. Press Shift L to re-enter normal texture mode. Save your map, compile, test. I hope it all works out well for you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching.